I'm Josh Green with Real Estate Top Performers. I'm here with David Bediz from the Bediz Group and Carey Riel from the Mortgage Link, and we're here today to talk about what happens after you get your contract accepted. I just tell them you move into the house. They said no. So why don't you guys
not
tell
that
them?
easy. No, not that easy. So there's definitely a process that needs to occur after you win your contract, and the first one is to communicate with your lender that you do in fact have that contract. You go through the securing of your interest rate process. You finalize your loan application, all your documentation. From there, we're going to go ahead. We're going to order title, hopefully through Eastern Title. We'll go ahead and
And
get
that's a process too. So, you don't want to wait till the last minute to order your title.
That's behind the scenes, though. We'll make that very easy for you.
I'll make that easy. That's my job, by the way.
And then we'll get your appraisal ordered. And one of the things that is very key to your whole loan process is the appraisal. And if that appraisal comes in lower than your sales price, that could create some concerns. We might have to change the structure of your financing, unless you're fortunate enough to have come in with a larger down payment, in which case...
So my question is to you, when the appraisal comes in low and they can't qualify for their loan, what do you do to get them and get over that hump? Or the both of you do it together? What is the process?
I start praying and hoping and doing dances and, just kind of putting my hands and...
You try to use that finance contingency.
No,
What happens if
exactly.
you don't have a finance contingency?
Yeah,
in place?
that depends on your offer and how your realtor has structured it up front. If you did not have an appraisal contingency, then there might be an issue. But if you do have an appraisal contingency, you may go back and renegotiate with the seller. Hopefully they'll be willing to sell you the property for a lower price.
So what would you do, David, if that happened
Well,
as
there's-
the realtor? Because I know what Carey
Yeah.
would do. Carey might ask for a second appraisal. But
Well,
what
as
would
Carey
you
mentioned,
do?
if you're lucky enough to have that appraisal contingency or even the financing contingency, then we have some mechanics in place to renegotiate, right? But in this market with low inventory and very competitive bidding situations, we often have had to scratch those contingencies. So if we really don't have any contingencies or any way to negotiate, or the negotiations have basically run dry, then certainly I'm going to talk to my lender and say, hey, look, this appraiser is not getting it. There's a few things in here that I've seen that are wrong, or he's not really looking at this other comp that I think is really important to look at.
And then you would give that to Carey. Then
right.
what would you do with that?
Well, you can always go back to the appraiser. I mean, an appraiser is just going to give a subjective opinion about what he thinks the cost is based off of past comparables. So if we've got some other comparables that were overlooked that can be utilized to increase the value, that's the first thing that we can do. We'll want to go back to him and request that he take into consideration some other sales, and that might get the appraised value higher, and it may avoid this issue altogether.
So basically what would happen is they work together as a team is what I think they're trying to say. And if the appraisal comes in higher or lower, David would go get the information that he has, that he believes that the appraiser didn't look at, provide it to you. You would then provide it to the appraiser, then we'd see if we could get an adjustment and you'd increase the appraisal so that you could be successful in buying your home.
But just a caveat, this is a very difficult process and it takes some really smart people involved to try to get that to happen. I've fought appraisals before and some have been more successful than others. At the end of the day, you have to make a very, very solid argument. It's almost like a court case you're fighting with the appraiser to get them to see that maybe they're overlooking something, maybe they didn't give you enough credit in one way or another. And that's why having a team like we are is so important to ensure that there's some degree of success.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like the content, please subscribe, like, and share Real Estate Top Performers.